No, no, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment, for this is a time of mystery, a time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the haunting hour, the thought. Ladies and gentlemen, for your pleasure and amazement, the 78 Club presents the Great Marlowe, the Mental Marvel. Gifted with the seventh sense, the Great Marlowe reads your mind, knows your every thought. Now I warn you, if you have a secret you don't want him to know, just don't think about it. Presenting the Great Marlowe.
Thank you. Frankly, I can't explain the performance you're about to witness. Science, without explaining it, calls it telepathy, thought transference.
I call it hokum.
The gentleman calls it hokum. Maybe. We will see. Now, everybody in this room, concentrate. Think of a thing or a person. Concentrate. Think hard. I have a thought. Someone is thinking of the initials SG. Will the person thinking of SG please rise?
I've been thinking SG.
Thank you. Young lady, you are concentrating on the name of Stanley Green. Is that right?
Why, yes.
Stanley is in the army, I believe. Correct?
Yes, he's a surgeon.
And you want me to tell you Stanley's serial number? It's 3400767. Is that correct? I have another thought. Someone is thinking. Someone is thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me a moment. I have to stop this performance. Believe me, it's important. I'll be back very shortly.
I told you it was hokum. What's wrong, Professor? Forgot your code?
It was the idea of stopping the act like that.
Where's your telephone directory, Marino?
What are you trying to do? Ruin our club's reputation?
Shut up, Marino. Where's your... Oh, here.
Now listen, Marlowe. I pay you $2,000 a week.
Glenwood to...
I expect to get my money's worth.
Listen, will you please leave? Just as soon as I'm through with this call, I'll finish the act.
All right, but make it snappy.
And close the door!
Hello?
Hello? I'd like to speak with Helen Thornton.
This is Mrs. Thornton.
Helen Thornton?
Yes, who's this?
My name is Marlowe, a telepathist performing at the 78 Club. A few moments ago, during my act, I received a thought that is vital to you. Are you alone?
Yes?
Do as I say, please. Lock all your windows and doors. Allow no one in under any circumstance.
If this is someone's idea of a practical joke...
No, Mrs. Thornton, this is no joke. Someone in this nightclub is planning to kill you.
Hello?
This is Mildred, Helen. I just got in.
Oh, I've been trying to get to you for hours. I know it's very late, but could you come over?
Helen, what's the matter?
Oh, Mildred, I'm so frightened. I'm alone here.
Where's Jack?
He's out of town, and it's Marie's night off. Mildred, I don't know what to do.
What's wrong? You sound...
Mildred, come over right away, please. You could spend the night. Oh?
Helen, what happened? What's wrong with you?
Oh, Jack?
Helen, you all right? Look, I'll be right over.
No, Mildred, it's all right now. Jack's home.
What was the matter?
I'll speak to you tomorrow.
All right. Good night.
Oh, Jack.
What's the matter? What happened, darling? Helen, for praise sake, what is it? Pull yourself together, darling. Here, come over here and sit down. There, that's better. Now, what is it, darling?
Oh, Jack, I'm so glad you're home. It's been awful, and I didn't expect you. And when I heard the door,
I finished my business in New York sooner than I had planned. I would have wired, but I thought I'd surprise you. I met Fred Hamilton on the train coming home. Remember the buyer from St. Louis? We stopped off for a drink downtown.
oh, Jack, you should have called me.
As a matter of fact, I did try to call you at about 11, just as we were leaving the 78 Club.
The 78 Club. You were there.
What is it, darling?
Nothing. I'm all right now.
Something is wrong, Helen. What is it?
I guess I was just frightened being alone.
You've been alone before many times.
Yes, but that call,
What call?
well, the police. There was a robbery in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's it. That's why the door was double locked. Well, darling, there's nothing to worry about now. I'm here, all right?
Yes, Jack, you're here.
There, that's better. A good night's sleep and you'll be good as new.
Yes, Jack.
Now you lie there and relax, darling. I'll go to the kitchen and make you a cup of warm milk.
Thanks, Jack.
Hello?
Paul, it's Helen. Didn't you get my message? I called twice.
Yes, but I just got in. I thought you'd be asleep by now.
Paul, you must help me, please. Please, Paul, there isn't much time.
Helen, what's the trouble?
He's going to kill me.
What the devil?
Jack's going to kill me. He came tonight.
Helen, what are you talking about?
Paul, you must believe me.
Now, listen, Helen. You've probably had a bad dream. Is Jack there?
Yes. Please, you must believe me. I know what he's going to do.
Well, we'll straighten this thing out. Let me speak to Jack.
No, you mustn't. Please, he's coming now. You'll never see me again alive. Goodbye, Paul. Don't bother folding up the dresses, Marie. Just throw them in.
Mrs. Thornton, isn't this kind of sudden you're going away?
Don't ask questions, Marie. Hurry. Here, help me close the suitcase. You finish packing the other suitcase. I'm going down to get the car at the garage.
Good morning, Helen.
Jack!
You look so surprised to see me.
Marie said you had gone. I didn't expect.
I decided to come back. I see I caught you in time.
I was just going over to Mildred's.
So early in the morning?
We have an appointment for golf.
Honey, in those clothes? Darling, it's all right. Helen, I'll tell you why I came back this morning. Frankly, I'm worried about you. Something's on your mind and I know it. Won't you tell me what it is?
I'm all right.
Okay, now listen to me. I had some very important business to settle with Paul this morning, but you come first.
You saw Paul this morning?
No, I changed my mind on the way down and came back. Helen, you need a rest. You and I are going away.
No, Jack.
Yes, now there is no use arguing. I've already made a reservation for this weekend.
Where? Where are you taking me, Jack?
Remember that cabin we stayed at 3 years ago?
Oh.
It will be wonderful, just the two of us all alone. We will drive out there tomorrow. Now there's no need to fuss either. Just a few old duds, my rifle.
Your rifle?
Yes, darling, my gun. The hunting season is on. The shooting at Lone Acres should be very good this year.
Now, Helen, what's this all about?
Paul, I had to see you.
Yeah, but why here, Luigi's, all the way across town?
It's safer here.
What's gotten into you?
Jack's going to kill me.
Helen.
He is, Paul.
Don't be ridiculous. That's what you told me last night over the phone.
He's changed his plan.
Oh, I see. And why, Mrs. Thornton, is your husband going to kill you?
Because he's jealous of you.
Jealous? Jack jealous of me?
He knows what we once meant to each other before I married him.
Why, of course he does. So what? Why, his winning of you is the standard joke between him and me. Rivals in love, partners in business, and all that stuff. Come on, snap out of it. I think I better talk to Jack about you.
No, Paul, you mustn't. Promise me you won't.
All right, Helen, if you say so.
Jack's taking me to Lone Acres tomorrow for a rest, he says.
Good. It's just what you need.
I'll never come back alive.
Now, Helen, get a hold of yourself. Everything will be all right. Your imagination's overworked, that's all. You should go to Lone Acres for a rest. It'll do you a world of good.
All right, I'll go, but I'm frightened. So frightened. We will be alone, and he will have his gun.
You know, Helen, sometimes I think I love this gun more than I do you. There, it's okay now. Clean as a whistle and ready for the work at hand. Say, the fog's lifting. You can see clear across the valley. Now we'll get in some hunting today after all. Helen, what's the matter? You haven't said a word since breakfast.
I'm all right. I've been wanting to finish the story.
The Golden Goblet murders. You know detective stories hand me a laugh. Now, if I was planning a murder, I'd use a gun, like the Springfield. Now, let's say, for instance, I wanted to kill... Well, let's say I wanted to kill...
Me?
All right, let's say I wanted to kill you. Now, let's see, we have to have a motive now, don't we? I have it. Motive, jealousy.
Jealousy?
Yes, I'm jealous of Paul Allen. That's it. I'm jealous of Paul.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, come on, be a sport. Our murder plot is just beginning to get interesting. Now, let's see. We need a locale. Oh, Lone Acres, right here. What a perfect setting for a perfect murder. Now for the time.
Yes, Jack. When are you going to kill me?
Well, I shouldn't really tell you when I plan to kill you, but I will give you a break. This afternoon, how's that? We will be out in the woods hunting. No one will be too near, no one to see what happens. The hunting season, a gunshot, and you're dead. A regrettable accident, and there's our perfect murder.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Magna Industrials, for making this production possible. Magna is a company that specializes in refractory equipment that makes it possible for the metal that we use every day to be made. They make equipment that can withstand over 2,000 degrees Celsius, and their company is willing to be flexible to meet all of their customers' needs. Thank you again, Magna, for the sponsorship. Now back to the thought. Helen Thornton has discovered that someone wishes to murder her. A mental telepathist performing at the nightclub brought the thought from among the guests. Later, Helen was shocked to learn one of the guests present in the nightclub was her husband, Jack. She fears that he might want to kill her because of his jealousy of Paul, a former suitor. Her anxiety is heightened, and her husband suggested they go away for the weekend to Lone Acres, an isolated hunting lodge. Once there, Jack tells her it's the perfect setting for a possible perfect crime, her murder, a hunting accident.
Helen, here, up this way. Follow this path around the bend here.
Jack,
Yeah?
would you mind if I went back to the cabin?
Helen, I'm going to circle this hill. You wait right here for me.
Jack, please don't leave me alone here.
A regrettable accident, Mr. Thornton.
But doctor, I don't understand how it happened.
Now, Mr. Thornton, it's really nothing serious. Just a shoulder flush wound. Your wife's gonna be perfectly all right.
When may I see her?
We can go in right now.
She's asleep.
Go ahead, wake her up. She'll feel none better you're here.
Helen, darling.
Huh?
It's me, darling. It's Jack.
Mrs. Thornton, it's your husband.
Doctor, get him out of here. He's going to kill me. Please, doctor, you must save me.
Mrs. Thornton, perhaps you better leave the room for a while.
All right, doctor. I'll wait outside.
Doctor, please don't let him in here again. You must believe me. He's planning to kill me.
Mrs. Thornton, what happened was an accident.
That's what he wants you to think. He planned it that way, but it wasn't an accident.
Now, Mrs. Thornton, it's natural in a case like this for you to imagine strange things.
Doctor, you think I'm crazy, don't you? But I'm not. I know what I'm saying. You yourself took the bullet out of my shoulder. Doesn't that prove he was trying to kill me?
On the contrary, Mrs. Thornton, on the scene of the accident, they find your husband with a .32 caliber rifle in his hands. The bullet I removed from your shoulder was a .45 caliber pistol cartridge.
Marie! Marie!
Yes, Miss Thornton. I'll be right up. I was just cleaning up the scullery, ma'am. Oh, Mrs. Thornton, you have the sling off.
Yes, Marie. The doctor says the shoulder is okay now. Soon I'll be playing golf again.
Oh, that's fine, ma'am. I'm so glad.
Were there any calls for me while I was out?
Mr. Thornton called to tell you not to wait up for him. He'll be home very late. Oh, and Mr. Allen called too, Mrs. Thornton.
Did he say what he wanted?
No, ma'am. He said he'd try to get you later on. Oh, and Mrs. Thornton, I was thinking, do you suppose Mr. Thornton wants to keep this box of bullets downstairs on the open shelf? I was thinking it might be dangerous.
Bullets?
Yeah, this box here.
Let me see that box, Marie. 45 caliber cartridges. 45 caliber cartridges?
At the scene of the crime, they found a .32 caliber rifle in your husband's hands. The bullet I removed from your shoulder was a .45 caliber pistol cartridge.
Evening. Have you a reservation, madame?
No, I'm here to see the great Marlowe.
Yes, madame. Then perhaps a table on the side. This way, please.
No, I've come to see him on a personal matter. He's expecting me.
Oh, I see, madame. Albert, show this lady to the great Marlowe's dressing room.
And when the doctor told me about the bullet he removed from my shoulder, I thought it was all a terrible mistake. I was even too ashamed to explain to Jack why I acted the way I did. Now, Mr. Marlowe, I'm sure what you told me over the phone that night is true. Someone is really planning to kill me. My husband.
Are you sure the doctor said it was a .45 caliber cartridge?
Yes, a .45 caliber cartridge, just like these Marie found in the basement.
Does your husband have a pistol?
I think so. He keeps his guns locked in the case. He has the only key. Mr. Marlowe, he tried once and failed. He will try again. You must help me.
All right, Mrs. Thornton. I will do all I can. Where is your husband now?
He's out on business. He will be home late.
Then we will have to work fast. I go on again at 9 o'clock. I want you to go home immediately and find some way to open the case where your husband keeps his guns. I will call you as soon as my act is over. Mrs. Thornton, if you can find a .45 caliber pistol in that case, I think we can put an end to this affair.
Hello?
This is Marlowe.
I opened the case. There was no pistol.
Mrs. Thornton.
I've searched all through the house and I can't find it anywhere. He must have it with him.
Mrs. Thornton.
What can I do? I can't stay here tonight. He will kill me.
Mrs. Thornton. Listen to me, please. You must come down here immediately. A few minutes ago, during my act, I received the murder thought again. Mr. Thornton is in this nightclub.
My husband is there now.
Yes. Meet me in my dressing room. Be sure to come to the back entrance and hurry.
All right, Mr. Marlowe.
Where am I supposed to be right now?
Jack? But he said you were standing there the whole time? You heard everything.
Enough.
It's not you. Then who is it at the 78 Club?
Me, the 78 Club. Helen, are you going to tell me what all this is about?
It's not you. Oh, yes, darling, I will tell you everything, everything. I should have told you before. I wanted to. Oh, Jack, I need you so much.
Now look here, Marlowe. I want to get to the bottom of this.
Mrs. Thornton and I have told you everything.
Yes, well then explain to me why at the very moment I was standing in my own house listening to my wife talk to you on the phone, you were telling Mrs. Thornton I was in this club planning to kill her. Oh, don't you see, Helen? This man is a cheap trickster. He's never even seen me before. Why didn't you come to me when all this started, darling?
I was afraid.
Because she thought you were the one, and so did I. That's why I assumed it was you sitting out there. Of course, I never saw you before you entered my dressing room a few minutes ago. You see, Mr. Thornton, I have a telepathic mind, not a magic eye. I know what your wife and I have told you is hard to believe.
I don't know what your game is, but I'll find out soon enough. Come on, Helen. We're going to police headquarters.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Thornton. The police know about this. I told them.
Huh?
The police are here now in this nightclub. Mr. Thornton, whether you believe it or not, your wife's life is in jeopardy. Someone in this club now is planning to kill her. Perhaps this will convince you. You own a .45 caliber pistol with the serial number 75682.
Why, yes, that's right. The pistol I reported missing.
Yes, I know. The police told me tonight.
Jack, why didn't you tell me?
Well, darling, you've been so upset lately, I didn't want to cause you any more anxiety.
That pistol, in all likelihood, the pistol which was used up at Lode Acres, is an attempt on your wife's life. Mr. Thornton, that pistol was brought to this club tonight by the person who is planning to kill your wife. The police found it concealed in a coat in the hat check room. Whoever claims that coat is Mrs. Thornton's intended murderer.
Why would anyone want to kill her?
Who can it be?
We will soon find out. Mr. Thornton, do you recall the night you were in this club? The night I first received the murder thought?
Yes.
That night, did you see anybody here, or were you with anyone who knows you and Mrs. Thornton very well?
Well, let me see. Well, yeah, but no, it couldn't be.
Pardon me, please.
We got him, Mr. Marlowe. Here he is.
Mrs. Thornton, your intended murderer.
Paul?
That's right. He was here the night you received the murder thought.
It was Paul all that time?
It almost worked.
Yes. And all the clues pointed to you, Mr. Thornton.
But why? We were so friendly, the three of us.
Friendly? More than that, Mrs. Thornton. Paul Allen was hopelessly in love with you.
Mr. Marlowe, you're on.
All right, I'm coming.
Let's go, Alan.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the 78 Club presents the Great Marlowe, the Mental Marvel. He will read your mind and tell you your every thought. But let me warn you, if you have a secret you don't want him to know, just don't think about it. From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. The mystery is a strange companion, a living memory. In the haunting hour. Our cast featured Nairobi Harmon as the narrator, Ava Hooper as Helen Thornton, V. Diaz as Jack Thornton, Angelo Dalguzzi as Paul Allen, Gavin Renhart as Marlowe, Bradley Turpak as Marie, Anna Bradley as Mildred, Kat Eisnicker as Marino, Kasten Stern as the Doctor, Zero and Morgan McCumbers as multiple characters, and finally Shiloh Connell as our understudy. This was directed by student Ava Christian. We'd like to thank Mr. Michael Miner and Mr. Bobby Zinsmeister for the work with the sound. We'd also like to thank Superintendent Dr. T.C. Chapelier, Assistant Superintendent John Belt, Principal Louis Retton, Vice Principal Keith Swearingen, Kyla Wright for our YouTube graphics, Dave Moffett, our ICHS secretaries, Lori Orban and Connie Hoopler, and all the other staff members who helped to make this production possible. We'd like to give one final thank you to Mr. Zinsmeister for making it possible for our drama club to do productions such as this one. Our next radio production will be Sherlock Holmes and the Problem of Thorbridge. To find out dates and times, visit this page as well as the Indian Creek Local School District's Facebook page. This is the Indian Creek High School Radio Hour. Saying good night and
Happy Halloween!